Man, the stories write themselves, don't they? Remember, we've been asking, where is Jaguar Wright? Why is she not speaking up? Ever since the case ended, it's been radio silence. Well, ask and you shall receive. And it's not like manna from heaven or nothing, but hey, we did ask. What's the deal? So today, a vid drop of an interview that they did, and I don't think that they thought this one completely through because, well, they don't normally think things completely through. So with this was par for the course. With what you're about to hear, it is absolutely damning evidence that this lady had purposefully led this case on not just any wild goose chase, but she did what she had to do in order to make sure that it never went anywhere. Why did we say that? Remember, we kept saying you have to keep the grift going. You got to have something to keep talking about. Closure to that thing loses you clout. If Diddy went to jail, everything drops. You can't have nothing more to talk about. So what do? You create narratives to keep the story going, and not just narratives. You got to make sure that the linchpins are pulled completely out. You ever see these scare tactics on some of these YouTube channels with people? It's not real, but they'll be on this roller coaster ride and they'll act like a piece dropped out and the people all freaked out taking. That's what she does. It's all a scare tactic, but she knows she's not wanting the ride to be over. The ride's continuing. We'll show you proof right now in this section of the video, that the live that she did. Now, gonna have it play all the way out, and we'll point something out to you, and you can tell us if we make sense.
Little black girl that works for TMZ, going back and forth to people like Armand Wiggins and all of the other content creators that were there. Now, a lot more got there after I left. Oh my God. I guess after I got there and I sat there with the press corps and said everything that I needed to say before we found out that they would not be using testimony from Al B. Shore and Natanya Rubin and a couple other key witnesses that probably should have been able to speak and give character witness representation of exactly how dangerous a monster this person is. But they were excluded because they did media before the trial. Isn't that convenient? Isn't that convenient?
Convenient or purposefully compromising? Let's break this down. Now, her concept is that they were denied speaking on the stand because they had done media before the trial. Do you remember them going on rampages all over every podcast to speak out on details? Do you remember this? Do you remember that they were going and giving all kinds of stories and backdrops and stuff that if they had just kept to themselves, jurors may not have heard that and they could be persuaded? But when you put that out into the ether of details of something that you say should be held and kept to the courts and put before jurors who don't have a biased opinion, you can actually, I don't know, win the case, But thanks to people like Jag and Ali Carter, it made lucrative stuff out of coming on the internet and blabbing. So what happened? All the people that could have had a hand in making sure that Diddy didn't, they came on the internet and did exactly what Jag did and suggested people do. Speak, tell your truth, don't keep quiet. Have all the information and make sure you tell all the information long before the case even starts, so that when the case actually starts, there's no case. You see, while the prosecution did their part to throw everything out the window, and we're not negating they did that too. Oh, trust me, the prosecution, trash, absolute trash. They didn't do their jobs. But subsequently, those people that were supposed to be witnesses, they did not do their job neither. Because why? Momentary pleasure took over. See, internet clout, internet fame, and people thinking we have the truth was more important than putting Diddy away. They wanted the idea of Diddy to stay awake. They didn't really want him going to jail. They couldn't afford for him to go to jail. Diddy going to jail would mean absolutely all their money and time would be dried up. Nobody want to hear their stories no more. The stories would be of ill consequence if that monster was gone. Now, With him not going to jail for the bigger crimes, what's the best they got? Now they can keep harping on the fact that he didn't go to jail, and the clout continues. This is exactly what we have been saying long before she came out to say this. We had been telling people that when these people do this, you know what happens? Real victims do not see justice because these people go after money. They go after clout. They want their 15 hours of fame. They want to be known. They want to relive their glory days. Who cares if Diddy goes to jail? I can keep saying he needs to go to jail. And the more I say it, the more clout I get. But if he goes to jail, then I can't say that no more. So I lose my clout. I have to make sure he don't go to jail. How do I do that? Make sure I mess the case up. How do I do that? Keep talking. That's why they went radio silent. The radio silence was what they said, mission accomplished. That's why you haven't heard from the rest of them yet either. Oh, but when they do start talking again, they're going to come out of the woodwork saying this. I can't believe how unfair the system is. When are we going to get justice? Look at what the system did to us. All we wanted to do was get to the bottom of this. Now we have to live with the shame. Mark our words. And it's not because we want to be right. It's because we've been trying to get people to wake up. Like literally just wake up. These people believe that they're puppet masters and you're the puppet. All the info that this lady said she had for years, documentation, proof. They had stuff that they were going to bring their own court case. Never happened. It was a string along. It was what you call it was bait. There was a commercial some time ago, an insurance commercial, where this guy had a rope and a fishing lure, and he was like, it was $1. Oh, there you almost got it. Almost got it. That's what they do. It's all bait. You have to keep going back to the source for your fix. The fix told you we have all the information. We've been in the system. We know. Every time the fix comes out and says, look, man, we know this much. We know this. We know this. We know this. And then you go to get your fix. And then they take a little bit and then you want more. And they come out and give you a little bit more. Now, see, if they were to ever admit to you that what they're giving you can be gone in an instant if this person gets arrested and sent off to jail, they lose control over you. They can't afford that. They need to keep you subservient. That's exactly what Jag is back to doing. Jag is back to doing her same old song and dance, skipping across the street, lying to you, telling you, well, we know all the people that should have testified didn't testify. While you were at this location, when you could have easily been the one to just be quiet and take all your info and testify. You didn't do that. In fact, you encourage everybody else to do this. This was your sabotage moment for the case. You encourage these people to follow in your footsteps, to chat, talk on your platform. You encourage them to talk. You did. You pushed them for their minutes of fame. Even when their story seemed iffy, you encouraged them to keep talking. Even when it was just like, that's a blatant lie, keep talking. That polarizes the society that they live in. And if they're supposed to draw from a pool of the society in order to go to the case, you see where the problem lies? You said you're trying to get rid of Diddy. So far, every action you've taken was to make sure that he never went to jail. You don't care about the victims. You said you had names of people you saved. You never took them to the prosecution. You said you have been at these parties. You were never called to testify, nor have you ever said that you were even remotely mentioned as one option. You are part of the problem. And to you people out there that listen to her, you're helping aid in this problem. And by that measure, you're hurting victims, real victims. Not the fake ones that want their 15 minutes of fame. Not the clout victims. Not the Courtney Burgesses. You are harming people who actually were dragged into this situation against their will, manipulated and used, and they will not have a voice in this anymore because now The wolf is now free. Thank you. At least you did your job. Way to go. Now, I know tons of people are going to come and defend and defend and defend. I just have you want to defend. I want you to defend one thing for me. That's all. I understand your vitriol, and I understand that you might be upset with all this, but I just want you to answer me one question, if you don't mind. If you don't mind, this is the one question I want you to answer this. Where is her proof? Did you remember the proof that they said they had? The tangible, logistical proof. Where is it? That's all we want. Just show us the proof. You'll never hear about this again. Where's the proof? When you answer that, we will leave this and we'll go on to something else. Until then, there are victims at stake. There are people that will continually be victimized and they'll never find justice because the louder mouths in the room push justice out the door. So y'all can think how you want, believe what you want. We've dropped the receipts that we have. This is the one time she opens up her mouth to talk, and the one thing she has to say is the one thing she promoted, the one thing she's complaining about not happening is the one thing that she was behind most. And now all of a sudden, it's someone else's fault. And isn't that convenient? Well, no, it's not. It's not convenient at all. You know what it is? Poetic justice. You wanted this. You got it. Now, to the victims. If she is in your corner, I would find a different corner. I wouldn't even try moving them. I would just leave that corner, go find a whole different corner to go hide in. Because at this point, it's just a matter of time before she brings more people to make you victims a second time. The words of Corey Fair. I hope you wake up before you go to sleep.